So Isla, we're in the yard. Who is this?
This is Boris. Boris is not the horse I had the accident on. I actually bought him after my accident. So I've never actually had my own horse. And since I had my accident, I ended up having to get an office job because I couldn't really walk. So that gave me the funds to buy my own horse. And that's how I ended up with Boris here. And
Boris is not his full name, is it?
No, his full name's My Dear Boris.
Dear Boris. Why did you call him My Dear Boris, or was he already called that?
He was already called that, and that's just because, well, you can see he's pretty pathetic.
He's not. Don't tell him that.
He's very sweet. No, he's a lovely boy, and he really is sweet and gentle and kind.
He's a beauty. He's an absolute beauty.
Yeah.
So take me back then. When did the riding start?
So I started riding when I was about 5 years old. We had 2 little ponies, but unfortunately, due to circumstances, we had to sell them. And then I had a break for a fair while, about 5 years again, till I was 10. Once I was 10, I was so desperate to ride again, so I ended up finding people who had ponies and knocking on their door asking if they would mind if I was to ride their pony in return for yard work and jobs.
So you were doing them a favour.
I was doing them a favour.
You were exercising their horses and ponies.
Yeah, while also doing like the mucking out and stuff like that. But to me, it gave me the opportunity to ride because we weren't in a position where I could have my own horse again.
What was it about riding? Why was there that passion there, do you think?
So there was the passion because there's just something about, I mean, any animal is, amazing and healing, but there's just something about a horse, because I guess because they're so big and majestic, and there's something, nothing can beat riding a horse, especially if you're galloping on a field, or it's just an experience that isn't Boris, you need to stop harassing me.
And he tries to scratch his bottom as well,
yes,
doesn't he?
Yes, he does, yeah, and he loves a neck scratch as well, so...
Give him a scratch as well.
Yeah, he
calm him down.
He is a scratch.
He's an absolute beauty. So, did you compete on horseback with ponies or horses?
I didn't, purely because, once again, I was obviously borrowing people's ponies, and there wasn't always transport available. So I did a bit on the pony I actually loaned for a while. Just low-level competing, nothing...
Over jumps, that sort of thing?
Yeah, over jumps. But with him, I'm now doing a lot more competing. Still really low-level, but he's only young. I got him when he was 5. He's just turned 7. So we're doing lots of low-level things to get his confidence up and just having lots of fun.
And what sort of ages will horses still compete at then? You say you got him at 5, he's now 7. So could you still be competing with him for quite a few more years?
Yeah, definitely. So they tend to say horses are in the prime at kind of 11, 12 years old.
That's plenty of time then.
Yeah, that's when they're in their prime for competing. But it really depends on the horse. Some horses can go... I know horses that are 30 years old and still being ridden. No, they're not being competed, but they're still being ridden. So it's sorry.
Well, you're being shoved out of the way now.
Sorry.
Is it because you're not paying him enough attention?
It is. That's exactly what
He's
it is.
He's jealous of me.
Yes, yeah. I'm sorry, Boris. So, yeah, it's purely, having that opportunity to go out. But with him, I am just focusing on building his confidence, building my confidence. And that's what we're doing, isn't it, Boris? And I'm loving it.
Horse riding is so important to you. It's very much part of your life.
Yeah.
So much so that you've bought Boris.
Yeah.
But take us back to the day that you had the accident, not with Boris.
So when I had my accident, I went through a phase of, as my riding improved, as I got more experience riding different things, I ended up doing a bit of freelancing. So people would quite happily let me ride their horses, and I'd earn a little bit of money from it. And this one horse, I've been working with him for quite a while, and he'd been going really well, which is why the accident was such a shock. And it did just happen out of the blue. We were walking, I had no contact, it was relaxed, there was no problems. And all of a sudden, in the blink of an eye, I don't know if he got spooked or bitten, he just reared up, so he went up and flipped over and landed on top of me. And as I say, it happened so fast. It was like 1 minute I was fine, next minute I wasn't.
So you weren't going at speed or anything like that?
Just walking. I was obviously riding him, but we were just in walk on a leisurely hack. I had my mum with me on foot, just a nice chill walk, which is why it was so, I couldn't believe what happened.
No loud noises or anything like that?
No, it was, which, I mean, horses are unpredictable. That's just the thing with horses. But it was just really, really unlucky.
So what happened then? Just talk me through where you ended up and where your horse ended up.
So when the horse fell on me, it ended up rolling. He's having
Scratching his bottom
now.
again, yeah?
Yeah, when the horse fell on top of me, he was rolling around on me for about, I don't know, 5-10 seconds.
Right.
Well, he tried to get himself up. He wasn't doing it on purpose.
And this was a horse the size of Boris?
Yeah, a tiny bit bigger, and it was a thoroughbred. Boris isn't a thoroughbred, but it was a ex-racer, so a horse that used to be on the racetrack that obviously was off the racetrack and being retrained.
Did he then stay on you, or was Mum there able to help to move the horse off you?
No, so he did stay on me until he managed to get himself up, purely because obviously he was panicked, his legs were thrashing about, it was dangerous, no one could get close, it's just not what you can do. And eventually he did get off me and he galloped off. I obviously stayed on the floor. I stayed fully conscious the whole time. I was never knocked out. I was aware of everything around me.
So you remember everything about it?
Yeah. And I remember Mum luckily managed to catch him, because it's still dangerous if there's a horse running round. It needed to, just be kind of caught. So Mum managed to catch him, but then she couldn't come close to me because she had this horse that was obviously quite wound up at this point. So she was just kind of talking to me, and I was like, no, I wasn't okay, but I was like, I'm fine. And at that point I didn't feel any pain, because I think I had so much adrenaline that it was like I could feel something wasn't right, but I was just I had so much adrenaline. My leg was actually up by my face.
Sorry, your leg was by your face?
Yeah, so because I shattered my right femur, hello Boris, yeah.
He's back again.
Yeah, because I shattered my right femur, my thigh was basically bendy. So my thigh was bent up and my ankle was by my face. So
you knew that wasn't right?
That wasn't right, and that was obviously stressing me quite a lot, because I could see my ankle in my eye line. And so what I actually ended up doing is I kind of semi-straightened it myself, purely because I couldn't feel anything at this point. So it just felt like numb and tingly. So it wasn't straight when I moved it, but I just moved it so it wasn't in my eye line, because I thought if I leave it in my eye line, I'm going to panic. I'm going to get myself panicked. So I ended up moving it to a slightly more normal position, although it didn't look normal. I remember saying to Mum, I think I've just dislocated something. And Mum was like,
And I think from Mum's point of view, looking at you, she would have seen how bad it was.
Yeah, she instantly, obviously, knew it wasn't good, which is why she phoned the ambulance. And obviously she spoke to a 999 dispatcher. And they did this really clever thing where they managed to actually somehow view me through my mum's phone, a bit like through the camera. I don't understand how they did it, but they were able to see me on the floor. And it was when they saw me, they went, we're going to send the air ambulance. And that's when I thought, oh God, we've got an air ambulance, that's not good. And by road, I mean the road ambulance, the waiting list, not the waiting list, the time it would have taken for that to get to me would be, it could have been up to 4 hours wait, which I didn't have really. Although I wasn't in a life-threatening condition, we still didn't know exactly what I'd done, if I had any other injuries. Obviously that was the one that stuck out like a sore thumb. So they sent the air ambulance to me, and they got to me within 10 minutes. Do
you remember the air ambulance arriving? Do you remember it circling round?
I do. It landed so close to me. I don't know, maybe 10 metres away. It was really close because I was in quite an open field. So
And that was quite close to where we are now, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah, it was. It was just up the road.
So what happened when the air ambulance landed?
So they landed. By this point, I was starting to feel some pain. It was almost like my body had, kept me in a place where I didn't feel pain, to preserve myself, I guess. And then the minute it kind of knew that there was some help, it's like, okay, now I can relax. And that's when I thought, oh, no, I'm actually quite a lot of pain.
Okay, so the air ambulance is there.
Yeah.
Did they try and treat you on the ground?
They
what
did,
happened?
yeah. So they obviously came straight up to me, and because I was fully awake and conscious, I was, talking to them quite happily. But I was obviously getting stressed about my leg. But while they were talking to me, they were already, putting an IV in my arm and giving me some really strong pain relief. And I remember this is where I did forget it, because I think the pain relief made me a bit woozy. But they ended up actually knocking me out on the field, which I learned it's only something kind of advanced paramedics can do. So a normal ambulance crew wouldn't have been able to put me under anaesthetic out in the field.
No, well, on the air ambulance, they've got hospital equipment, haven't they?
Exactly. Yeah. So they actually ended up putting me under anaesthetic and straightening my leg. And next thing I woke up, my leg was in a brace. And
this is still on the field?
On the field, yeah. They just did it all. And the reason they did that is if they didn't, the blood flow was so restricted because of the break, my leg would have died and I would have had to have it amputated. So their skills that day of being able to do that there and then, and also getting me to Hull Royal Infirmary, which, is a major trauma centre. They managed to get me there within, I think it was a 15-minute flight, whereas by road it's about an hour 10. So, and the minute I got there, I was instantly taken care of. And
they saved your leg.
Exactly. That's what I say. Well, it's true. Without them, I probably wouldn't have my right leg today. I wouldn't be standing as I am. I wouldn't. And, I'm so grateful because I have made a full recovery and I can walk, I can run, I can ride, I can do everything I wanted to. And I wouldn't have been able to do that without them. And, I'm 20 now. I had my accident just before I turned... I was 18 at the time, and, to potentially have lost my leg at that age, what it would have done for my life, I don't know what I would have done.
Well, you wouldn't be riding a horse, would you, probably?
No, I'd find a way somehow.
Yeah.
But it just wouldn't, that wasn't me. It was like my worst nightmare, because I'm an active person. So, it did it. To them that day, it's not just, they didn't just save my leg, as cringy as it sounds almost, they kind of saved my life, because I wouldn't have been able to live the life I wanted to live without having my leg. And so to them, mentally, what they've done for me as well as physically is incredible.
Talk me through the recovery side of things then. So how long were you in hospital for? So
I spent 2 weeks in hospital, purely because... luckily, I got scanned, and other than a bit of bruising, I was absolutely fine other than my leg. That was the only bone that I broke, which is a miracle. And that's because I had my body protector on, which I don't wear as much as I should, I admit. But that day, something, I don't know what, made me put it on.
OK, just describe what a body protector is.
So it's the one, you can get various different types. The one I had was quite thick foam. It covers all your vital organs and your chest and your back. So if you do have a nasty fall, it helps prevent, damage to internal organs or breaking your back.
And did that help you as well, do you think?
Yeah, it did. So the paramedic said if I wasn't wearing my body protector, it probably would have killed me just from the sheer weight of the horse on top of me, or it would have put me in a much worse position than I was. And it was just, I was so grateful I had that piece of equipment on. Yeah, it was...
So you would say to anybody going out riding, no matter what situation, you're just out having a walk with your horse.
Yeah.
And it made a big difference to you.
Yeah, a huge difference. And as I say, I actually, I don't wear it every ride now, but I wear it when I go out as much as I can, because at the end of the day, it probably did save my life or give me a much better chance. So my recovery, that was quite hard. I spent 2 weeks in hospital. I basically had to learn to walk again. I was bedbound in hospital, couldn't get out of bed. I had physio and things like that. But it was still really, really hard. And I remember when I got home, it was like so debilitating for me because I was kind of still stuck in bed, and I had to use a commode by my bed. I was in a wheelchair. And for me, who was so independent normally, it was horrendous because I felt all my independence had just been taken away from me.
But look at you now.
I know.
2 years on.
Yeah. And
it didn't put you off horses then? Because
no.
that's an interesting point, isn't it? Because it could have done, couldn't it?
Yeah, it was weird. So everyone, and rightly so, including me, would think you'd never want to be around horses again. But there was something about me as I started to obviously recover more and get more able and feel like I could do more again. Every time I drove past the yard, well, Mum drove me past the yard or anything, I was just like, all I wanted to do was be with the horses. And I'm like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And that's
get
when...
back on again.
Yeah.
That's what people say, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And obviously that day I could not get back on. But honestly, as soon as I could, I got back on. I got back on my friend's horse, who was very safe, very safe horse. And that was it. Once I'd ridden once again since my accident, I was like, that's it. I can't stop this.
And what now with you and Boris? Are you going to be competing with Boris? What sort of things are you going to do?
Yeah, so as I say, I got Boris for my own personal enjoyment. I haven't got him to sell. He's not going anywhere as far as I'm aware. He's with me for life, unfortunately, aren't you, Boris?
He looks happy enough.
He just likes scratches. He loves attention. He loves fuss. So yeah, Boris is basically something that I can enjoy and do a bit of everything with. So a bit of an all-rounder. But as I've got to know him more and I've got more confident, I've found he's got a pretty amazing jump on him. And we have been out show jumping and competing. Only low level, very low level. And we're going to a show jumping competition on Saturday at a local venue called True Fate. And I've been really enjoying it, as has he. And I'm really hoping to actually, which I didn't think I was when I bought him, but to move up the levels and show jumping with him.
Well, good luck with that.
Thank you.
I mean, what would you like to say to the team at the Links and Knots Air Ambulance?
I'd just like to say that, I wouldn't be here today as I am. I wouldn't probably have a horse. I wouldn't be riding. I wouldn't be doing all the things I love and living a normal life without what they did that day, because I wouldn't have had my leg. They saved my leg. And as I say, mentally, they saved the rest of my life, because without that, I wouldn't have, the opportunities I still do, and I wouldn't be able to ride. I wouldn't be able to run. And it's, when I tell people about my accident, people that don't know me, they're like, no way. Like, you wouldn't tell, because they did such an amazing job that day. Other than, obviously, my visible scars.
Which we can't see.
Which you can't see, you wouldn't know.
Bless.
Yeah,
But
so it's just what they did for me that day, and the skills they had to do that on the field as well, and that's immediate care and pain relief that I needed. I can't thank them enough. I can't. And that's why I emphasise always how grateful I am, and also why I'm so keen to raise awareness, because you don't have to be in a life-threatening condition necessarily to need the services. Anyone could need them. And the fact they were there for me that day was amazing. Yeah, that's all I can say, amazing. I don't have words. I don't have the words for what they did for me that day, but it's always going to have a very special place.